Okay guys, we are at the end of the school year and it's time to do some reflection. I have been reflecting on myself as a mother and a teacher, and I'm gonna share with you guys some areas for growth and some areas where I feel like I really killed it this year. The first area for growth that I know I need to work on is consistency. I struggled this school year with being consistent with curriculum, consistent with plans and processes. I really struggled with that. But life gets in the way. We act like squirrels. I felt like I had a squirrel hat on for a large part of this year, just feeling restless and like I needed to be moving. And that really caused some struggles. And it wasn't a major issue, but I don't like being inconsistent. I don't want that to be how I carry on through life moving forward. So that is something that I'm going to work on. The second thing that I felt like I struggled with this year as a mom and a teacher is the ability to focus on one thing at a time. That's that squirrelness in me again, but I wanted to change things here. I didn't like the fit here, and I could not hone in on one thing to fix it, just to fix that one thing. It took me a little while to grasp sitting down, taking those deep breaths, using my planner, writing things down, and really prioritizing those items. I had to work really hard at that. And I'm not sure why, because that's not typically my behavior, but we had a lot of things come into our lives this year, even things outside of homeschool that required my attention. And I just found that I struggled with finding that balance and making sure that I'm focusing on one thing and completing that task before I move on to something else. The third thing, which I'm sure a lot of you mamas can relate, is that I was a little overly ambitious. I wanted to do all the things. I wanted to just do everything. We're talking field trips and adding in this curriculum and supplements and going here and exploring this and science this, and everything was super attractive to me. This leads me back to my squirrel process that I kind of spent our school year in and moving around. We had some amazing things happen this school year and some amazing things in my life, just separate from being a homeschool mom, just being a wife and a mother and a woman in general. But I still had that squirrel mentality. I was a little overly ambitious in some areas of my life and took on more than what I should have. And I had to kind of backpedal. Nobody likes to backpedal. It makes it look like you are inconsistent, non-reliable. I do not enjoy that. But I was definitely open and honest with those who I had to interact with to say, this was too much. I bit off more than I can chew. I need to take a couple of steps back. Here is what I can do and offer you at this moment. Everyone around me in my life was super understanding and accepting of that, which made me feel a lot better. Now, I can take on a little bit more step by step, understanding that one step I have the opportunity to evaluate and make sure that I'm not overwhelmed. Once I've got that down, if I feel that I have the ability to take on more, then I can, but I do it at my own pace, not try to take on everything all at one time. The next thing that I felt like I was not the greatest at this year was budgeting. I did make a decision not to buy a ton of books, and I will say that I succeeded in doing that. Last year, books here, there, everywhere. I was purchasing books out of this world. But when I say I wasn't great at budgeting, it wasn't that I went over and overspend. It was simply that I did not have a number down on paper to kind of keep me within those guidelines. In the past, previous school years, I have had a budget that I stuck to very well. But it's almost as if in my mind, I said to myself, if it's for school, we need it. If it's for our house, we need it. If it's for anything in life, we need it. Separating those needs or really, really strong wants from needs is major. I have since turned over a new leaf. I'm doing really good and back on track where I was before, but that was something that at the beginning of this school year, I had a problem with. Another area for growth for me would be time management. It just leads me back to all of these things when you're talking about consistency and making sure that you're not taking on too much and focus. Time management was also an issue. When you can't focus on one thing, you're thinking about all of these other things, you're really not very effective. And I found at times I was not effective at completing tasks. I would have 10 things on my list and I may get one done, which is still something to really celebrate. But when you look back on it, how much I bounced around to different areas, so much more could have been completed. Did anyone die in the process? No. Was anyone upset with me in the process? I hope not. Was I upset with myself? No, a little disappointed, but because I've done better, I know what I need to do. I just have to recenter myself, focus back on what has worked for me, and get back within that framework. And of course, as we list areas for growth, it would mean nothing if we did not focus mainly on the successes. The first thing is I did a really good job of making sure to manage our daily flow. Yes, I was a little squirrelish. I did not focus on one thing, but we had a really good flow. My girls knew what to expect. Now, there were times where I had to stop what I was doing and felt like I didn't really accomplish much because we had to move on to a flow of basketball or dance or gymnastics or managing our home. But my girls learned, they finished their work. It was me and my things that I was not able to complete in the manner in which I wanted to in the time frame as well. But as far as our daily flow, the daily flow of my life, waking up in the morning, doing my morning routine, preparing breakfast, and getting us into our day, I give myself 2 thumbs up because I did a really good job of staying within that framework. Another area of strength, which in the past has really been a struggle for me, but I did really good at it this year, was flexibility. Now, one could say I maybe was a little too flexible, which is the reason why I had these struggles with consistency and things like that, but everything is about balance. I am finding that balance, and it's ever evolving. As my children change, as I change, as things come and go within our lives, we have different things that arise that need our attention, that take priority over the list that we already had before. We have to change. It is necessary. I provided and accepted that flexibility within our lives and within my life. So I did not beat myself up, which is the reason why when I say, oh, I didn't get to the other 9 things on my to-do list, I wasn't beating myself over the head about that because I had to allow for flexibility for changes in our environment that we don't have any control over. Another area of strength for me this year is just tapping into what I needed, not what my girls needed, not what my husband needed, my friends, anything else, but just me. I had to take time to really think about me and what it was that I needed. If I'm not feeding myself, I cannot feed my girls. I cannot manage our home. I cannot do all of the things that are necessary in this life that we live. And I found an amazing balance. I feel really good both inside and out with finding that balance and making sure that I was taking care of self. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Bye.